We're behind the wall. What, do you think I want to be in the camera?
How are you? Haven't seen you on email since you don't work here anymore. That's a good recipe. That's a good recipe. Nobody's gonna bother. Because they never had any. They never had last year's budget.
She says she's running, everybody wants an extra.
I told you I got your back. Where did these come from? It's like man in Take it out.
Call the meeting to order. Please remove your hats. Let's take a minute to silent minute and then our pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is anyone recording here tonight? No? Okay.
No.
Well, I'd like to welcome you all. And
not us.
I just want to say to all of you that our Tuesday workshop got a little out of hand, and I will take full responsibility for that.
On YouTube
And I have written my president's report in the October News and Views. I would appreciate it if you all would read it, okay? So now, we're going to have the approval of the minutes.
So move to approve.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Correspondence, Secretary Metcalf, please.
The letter goes, there is a set of risers stored under the stage which has been used by the Music Airs for their concerts for more than 20 years. The Music Airs has not used these for the past few years and has no plans to use them in the future. I have had conversations with both Vince and now Mike, and neither can determine when the risers were purchased or by whom. It could be that the Music Airs held a fundraiser, or perhaps they paid for part and the BCO paid the rest, or even that the community paid for all. No minutes, invoices, etc. have been found to verify this. However, both clubhouse managers agreed that they could use the storage space taken up by the risers. I'm asking permission from the board to act as an agent to sell the risers. I would do all the work, and should we find a buyer, make sure to have the BCPO treasurer present when the sale is finalized. The Music Airs would like to use the proceeds from this sale to purchase a keyboard and bench to be used for rehearsals. Any excess funds would be turned over to the BCPO. I've attached a picture of my proposed ad. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sandy Kalisak, Music Airs Director.
I don't believe we need a motion for this. I think Sandy should research the people that she might come in contact with, or someone might be interested in them, maybe a school or some of the smaller schools here that are self-funded might be interested. So I think my opinion would be let Sandy research that, and it's okay with us.
Yes. And Sandy, where are you? Oh, there you are. I know that it takes up a lot of space, so I'm sure that Mike and the guys and girls here will be very appreciative if we can do something.
I'm just looking that there's no objection. That's basically.
Well, I just want you to come to
Sandy Kalisak, Unit 6. I just looked at the Music Airs thing, and these were here in 2000. So it's over 20 years, and no other club used them. And I just want to make sure there's no objection, because I don't want it to come back to me. Who was she to sell those, kind of thing, okay? That's all I'm looking for.
We know where you live, Sandy. Thanks, Sandy, because it's a good project. Okay, the second letter I have is I would like to suggest a residents-only gate to be installed at the emergency exit at Adolph and Scepter Avenue. Since a new development is coming adjacent to Brookridge Central and additional traffic will be using this street, perhaps a second entrance and exit should be considered. Now is the time to start looking into this project so it could be in place by the time the new traffic pattern impacts Brookridge community. This gate would be residents only and open only from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m., this gate should be locked. Cameras could be installed to have monitoring 24 hours connected to the guard shack. Please give this suggestion a serious consideration to help with better traffic flow in and out of the community. Thank you, Vivian and Alan Blair, Unit 4. And I know Vivian, where is she? Is she not here tonight? Oh, there you are. There you are. I know we talked about this, and I hope that President and our GM, along with perhaps the advisory committee, would seriously look into this. And I think that with the new company coming in, that they might want to be nice to us and maybe foot some of the bill, if not all of the bill. So it's just something that they're probably going to look into anyway. Yeah, come on up to the mic, Vivian.
Vivian Blair, Unit 4. Perhaps we could also talk to our paving contractor that does our streets. Maybe we can work a deal with him to get the paving done as far as the road that's going to be in and out of there. Just a suggestion.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, it is a good suggestion. Thanks, Vivian.
Thank you. Well, again, I left my president's report on the printer, so I'm winging it tonight. And you're probably all happy about that. Just a few things. Liftmaster has started on the gates, on the exit gates. They started today, and they will be incorporating the new DSX system. That's for our barcodes. We're going from 200 to 400, which is basically, doesn't mean the numbers that we have, it's just the number of their system. We have also become a little more modern in the office. We've got a credit card machine, which makes it more expeditious for our girls to scan credit and debit cards. They've been doing it by hand and spending all that time. The machine is $393 to purchase. If we rent it, it's $23 a month. So we felt let's move forward in our office also and take care of that. Quick reminder about our Fall Festival in November the 19th. I really don't have a whole lot. Please read my October President's message in the news and views. I'm going to, our general manager is on vacation, so she does not have a report. So I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Mrs. Besteri. Oh, you're going to give the report?
Yes, ma'am, she did give it to me.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
That's okay. So this is from General Manager Carol Webster. We would like to thank Thursday Brookridge Entertainment for donating $1,500 towards the purchase of Gate Century. Their donation is greatly appreciated. Just a reminder, Gate Century will be hosting an orientation session tomorrow, Thursday morning, here in the clubhouse at 10 a.m. After the 20-minute video, the session will be open for questions. Within the next week, you will be receiving account setup information from Gate Century, either direct from the administration office or via email from Gate Century if your email address is on file. Sorry, I'm beeping myself. If you would like to add your email to their services, please contact the administration office directly. When you receive the account information, please be sure to set up your account to update your contact and visitor information. We hope to have Gate Century in place around the first week in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene. May we have the treasurer's report?
The summary report for August 2022. Operating account ending balance, $225,987.29. Accounts receivable assessments, $255,419.92. Fines owed, $69,312.52 with 29 liens on file. Our assessment income, $136,792.45. VCR fines, $3,875, and other income, $26,939, for a total income of $167,606.45. Operating expenses for the current month: administration, $17,194.11. Facilities, $17,204.04. Public Works, $18,437.64. And Code Enforcement, $27,536.38. Total expenses, $80,372.12. And year-to-date budget spent $920,566.76. In our reserve accounts, year-to-date, we have $364,560 for a balance of $2,308,853.42. Out of the reserve expenses paid out was $24,200 for QuickBase database. Donated funds, $25,569.72, and a reimbursement for mulch, $176.53.
Thank you, Rosemary. We do not have any unfinished business. Oh, wait a minute, we do. That's our, I'm sorry. We vote on the proposed budget. The board votes on the proposed budget tonight. Yes, to send it on to the membership for the review and their vote. No, if it does not pass, you will not get this budget right now. I'm going to turn this over to Rosemary, who is the treasurer.
The assessment is $48 per lot per month, or $576 per year per lot. The subtotal of operations, $1,407,100. Estimated other income, $90,000. For landscaping, $15,000. Collected fines, $70,000. Administration, $120,000. The subtotal of other income would be $295,000. Total operating expenses will be $1,112,100. In the reserve funding plan, $527,700. And the total association requirements, $1,639,800. Our assessment for 2023 is $48 per month. Could I have a motion to approve the budget?
I want discussion first.
I'll second Rosemary's motion.
Any discussion from the board?
Okay, I have some comments to make on this budget. Last year, on the budget, we said, and we knew the minimum wage was going up $1 a year for the next 4 years. We also know, if people look at this budget, you will see that not only did the minimum wage go up, but the reserves went up $72,000. How can you possibly justify a $130,000 increase in amounts done on a $48 budget? I don't know how you can do it, because in the long run, in 4 years from now, you have to have, for just labor, and I wrote it down, the labor rate per month, hours, is $3,700. 688 hours. That's a month. Per pay period, that's basically the time you put in the Social Security, that's $2,000 a pay period. That means that the increase in salaries are $62,000 when you put in the PTO time per year. That gives you a grand total of $242,000 in the next 4 years. The reserves went up 72. By the time 2026 gets here, they're going to be a $100,000 increase. 72 now, and then it'll be up to 100,000 in. That brings the total amount have to be done is 342,000 more than what it is this year. That equals a $10, $120 increase in assessments a year. That equals a $10 increase in assessments per month. That means it's got to go up $2 every year until the minimum wage is made at $15 an hour. This budget does not have that in it. It does not have, if we have to put a gate in the back there, it does not have money for that. It's probably going to be, what, $200,000 or $300,000. So how is that going to be for you? If somebody says that we can spend, that we can pass a special assessment, they better read the bylaws, because the bylaw says it has to be for a natural disaster, a repair, or a reconstruction of a common area, not for budget items. So I'm going to vote no on this.
At this time, we are just voting to approve the budget to submit to our members. The members will have time in the next few weeks to voice their opinions about the line items and in the budget at our town hall meetings, which we'll be conducting on a regular basis, so everyone knows that what we're doing and where the money is going.
So how do you submit a budget that we know the figures in this thing's wrong? Because the reserves went up 72,000. Where do you think that came from? It didn't come off the administrative, it comes where you raise the administrative to 120,000 and the collection and fines to 70, because they were 30,000 and less than 120,000 last year. I think that's totally irresponsible. These figures are not right, and they should not be even presented to us.
Do you want to? As I said, you will have the opportunity at the next workshop. And if you have any questions, submit them to me.
So if everybody disagrees with this and this amount,
email them to either one of us.
is another budget going to be presented? Or is it just going to be go to vote like this? Because if this gets, say, if this don't have an increase, next year it's going to have to go to $4. The year, and say it don't get voted down. Say it gets voted down next year. And because the state law says we can't increase assessments more than 10%, you're not going to be able to make the next year $6, you might stay at $4. So eventually you're going to get to where you don't have, you've got the money to pay payroll and the reserves, but you don't have the money to run anything else. I think whoever's on the board next year, or the next year, or the next year, it's our responsibility to make sure they don't run into this problem. So to vote this to be passed is, I mean,
If this budget is passed by the board, it gives every one of you an opportunity in November to vote yes or no. But we haven't taken a vote on the board yet. So
my point is, we shouldn't even have this here. I mean, because you think about it, in 2 years, say for example, when they get that bill out there and we find out we have to have $300,000 to put in the gate in the back, Well, how's it gonna be paid for? It's gonna have to be raised assessments to get it there. So, what you gonna do then in 2 years if it gets turned down? Well, just up crap? Is that what it's gonna be?
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Is there any more discussion from the board? Any more discussion? Can we take a vote? Please raise your hands if you approve taking this budget to the residents in November.
Seriously, you're gonna vote for this? Seriously, after last year?
Jerry, that is enough.
It ain't enough. You know what we voted on last year, what we put forth.
This-
You and Gail voted, and it ain't no further.
Jerry, I will not tolerate this anymore.
You're not gonna tolerate, you knew that budget last year needed to go up because the minimum wage went up. You knew it had to go up. Now you're acting like it don't go up.
I was not even on the board as a
Well,
treasurer
you were
last
on my
year.
board last year, and so was Gail. And y'all gonna vote for this when you know it had to go up this year from last year?
That is your opinion, and you're welcome to the opinion, and we understand
These
that.
figures are crap, and you know they're crap.
Jerry, I don't think it's right for you to put the fear of God into our membership until they have a chance. Jerry, I said, you do not need to put the fear of God in our
Who's put the fear
membership
of God in? Let's tell you
until
something.
they have a
Let's
chance
tell
to
you
look at
something.
the
You said on
budget.
this board last year, if you do it, had to go up $3, and now you're going backwards. And eventually, if you keep going backwards, these numbers, the fines in the administration is gonna be $150,000 to $200,000, because that's the only way you can balance the budget.
There is no need of that. There really is no need of that. Because
you're going to pass something that should not be passed. I had an argument with you, well, especially Gil last year,
I
on
can
the
say
same
this,
thing.
everyone, if you do not approve of the budget, you vote no.
No, it shouldn't
in
go back to
November.
them like this, because it don't have the right figures on it. Why do we want to stand up here and try to pass a budget, we know the figures are off on it?
Sandy Kalisak, Unit 6, may I speak, Jerry, please? We would have appreciated, I sat on the budget committee, we would have appreciated you showing up for some of our meetings and helped us make this decision. I'm sorry, I'm speaking, Jerry, I'm speaking. Give me the moment to speak. We looked very carefully at all the budget items.
Excuse me, how come it's not
Wait a minute, I'm
open to
speaking.
member comments to the end?
She was on the finance.
She's on the finance committee,
She's a member.
period. She has a right to speak, she's on the finance committee.
She's on the finance committee.
The finance committee went over these figures, and the budgets in the past, especially last year's budgets, were highly inflated. For no apparent reason, we used like 70% or so of the budget. It doesn't, we went through these figures carefully, and this budget is appropriate for next year.
Oh, okay, we're gonna put this on the next board, and the next board, we're gonna kick the can down the road, and they're gonna have to try to pass a $4 budget next year, and hopefully $4 next year, and to get to that $350,000.
Jerry, I appreciate your opinion, but I do believe that the finance committee, and I know there's a couple of people that went to all the finance committee meetings, and they did look at them. They looked at all of the figures, and I know they spent a lot of time on them, and I agree with Sandy that some of the figures were higher last year because we weren't sure what the other income was going to be because we had no way of knowing because we hadn't had an audit.
So let me ask you a question. See now you said on the finance committee last, or did whatever with them. So explain to everybody, including me, if the minimum wage goes up $242,000 in the next 4 years, and the reserves go up $100,000, that means the assessments go up $10. So tell me how you're gonna get to that. You're gonna go 0 this year and then 4 next year, or the next year?
I'm sorry, Anna. Did you direct that question at me?
Oh, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, you directed that question at me. First of all, I have nothing to do with the fines. I have nothing to do with this other. I was not on the budget and I was not the president last year. I have nothing, so I know that you've told somebody that I am responsible for that $70,000. I am not. I've had nothing
I didn't
to
say
do
you're
with it.
responsible.
Please, you have your opinion, and this board does not want to overcompensate people and make them pay another $10 a year. As our Social Security is going up a little by little, then we're making it so that people can afford. Yes, we're going to have to go up probably every other year, another couple of dollars, but I do know that the Finance Committee put in the raises for last year and for this year, so that we would not be stuck like we were the year before. So there aren't, it looks like they're inflated, but the board was not, we had no idea of knowing what was going to happen, okay? They went up because that was their fiscal responsibility in case something happened this year, that they would be able to pay for those mandatory raises in September. They don't come at the end of the year, they come 9 months into the year. So that is a great part of why there was the excess money.
So what about them?
Please let me finish. The other thing, the auditor told us all when he came to this meeting last year that he said it's a shame that we only have about 1 to 2% excess. We should have at least 4 to 5%. We put it up to about 3%, and that is because we got the increase last year. We are grateful for that increase. We're not going to keep increasing it every year. We don't want to have too much money excess because that doesn't look good either. So we're trying to keep the excess at just a small amount. So that is the reason why the Finance Committee made the decision last year. And I know the members of the Finance Committee told us that we have that excess for this year because we want to make sure that everybody gets paid, and if we have anything else happening, we've got that. Right now, we're probably down to about 1 to 2% excess again, but why should we keep burdening our people when every year, they say we can't even go up $1 because these people don't have enough money. So you want to raise it another $4 or $5 in 1 year? What are the older people going to do that are on seriously fixed incomes?
I want to rebut that because she said that auditor said 4%. In fact, he said it needed to go up $20 last year. If anybody was here at the meeting, they would have heard that. So, said it should, the assessment should be $20 more than what they actually are.
And that was because he said once the reserves was done, that those reserves are going to be sky high because of the products that couldn't be made, and that the rates, everything were going sky high. So that is the reason.
So are we going back to the year 2018? Because I can tell what your budget was for 2018 and what you exactly told me. Do you want to go there?
Jerry?
Because in 2018 and 2017, the budget did not pass. You told me that the people that work here should not suffer just because the residents voted down the budget increase.
There was 1 year that it was not, that
And that was
voted down.
2018, where you was over budget on every item on the budget except 4. So,
Jerry, is this something against me? Let's move forward. Let us please move forward. It's 2022.
yes, 2022, and this is 2026, when that $2,242,000 hit.
Linda, can I say something first, please? and it's about the budget. Last year, as Gail told you, some of the budget figures were really inflated.
They were inflated because
Now, wait a
somebody
minute,
goes there
Jerry.
twice.
Please wait a minute, Jerry. They were adjusted accordingly this year based on increases in everything. However, we need to remember, last year, we just started getting income from news and views. We did not get anything from the Friday night bingo. This year, we will be making at least $11,000 income on the news and views, and Friday night bingo is paying us $1,000. That gives us $23,000. Last year, the collections and fines in the budget, I believe, was $30,000. Every year prior to that, it was over $70,000. We put the fines and collections this year at $70,000. Right now, as it stands, we have over $40-some thousand collected in collections and fines, and we're not at the end of this year. So always remember that a budget is a guesstimate that you work for. You want to come to those figures, you hope you come to those figures, but anything can happen. A catastrophe, something else. Our reserves take care of any depreciation of any of our equipment or our buildings or what have you. Yes, they increase every year to make sure that if anything happens to any of these buildings, any of our equipment, we have the money to pay for that. We do not take any of that out of the operating budget. It is in the reserves. And that is a necessity. We have to put the money there. I will tell you, I worked on the budget with Rosemary and Sandy, Daniel, and Tom Wallington. We went through those line items over and over and over again. This was the best we could do. Did we try? Oh, yes. Yes, we did. We tried to get it up to $50. But we couldn't justify it. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry. Linda, we should not be taking any comments tonight.
I know, but this needs to be said. Inflation is on a rise. It's higher than it's been in 40 years. It's going to continue to rise. We have to build in and protect our community for all the inflation that's going on in the goods, toilet paper, your cleaning supplies. All of that has to be taken into consideration. Looking over the budget tonight, I did not see where that was taken into consideration. The inflation rate. And as far as news and views, I went back to when it started. We did not make any money on news and views. We're in the hole $71.30. They projected that we were going to make anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. The income from August 21st to December the 21st was $39,653. This came off the monthly reports that I get. The printing cost for that same period of time was $25,901.80. Yeah, there was a profit then. But then you add in January to July of this year. The income was $33,157. Printing costs were $46,979.50. So for the total for the first year, the income was $72,810, and the printing cost for the first year was $72,881.30. So that's a loss of $71.30. There was nothing made on news and views, according to the reports that I get monthly, showing the income and the expenses.
You need to realize that there's more printing costs in that line item than just news and views, Linda.
No, it says news and views, printing.
Yes, but I have a breakdown at the office from September to August of this year, and there is a profit. There is a profit.
Why doesn't
Why
it
doesn't it
show
show
on
on
our
the sheet?
numbers?
Why is the breakdown correct?
Is there any more discussion of the board? Any more discussion? Can we take a vote? Can we have a show of hands, all in favor of?
This is why we need term limits up here, I can tell you that now.
Thank you.
May we take,
I say let's take a vote on this budget. You have made the motion? And you have a second? All in favor?
the way, you all have a chance to look at the budget. At the workshop, as Rosemary told you, we will take questions and answers. If you would be kind enough to email Rosemary or myself and give us a heads up on what your questions are, we would appreciate it. And then we will be discussing this, the budget, and the questions and the concerns, a line item that you're interested in at the workshop, October the 4th.
What time?
9 o'clock is our workshop. Yes, okay, thank you. This motion is carried. We have the report of the directors now, the committee reports, and their projects. Let's start with Leo. Leo, who's going away for 2 weeks.
Well, first of all, the beautification committee, I don't know if anybody has happened to notice, but I hope that everybody did. The beautiful work that's being done. We have a couple of new members, and we are thankful for them. What they've actually done is they've approached us and said, can we help? We can do a couple of these things. So with many more hands than 4 women, it's getting to look much nicer. We have a man that comes up and he sprays and he's always pulling. He actually had a landscaping business and was sick of just walking around the neighborhood. So that's why he's helping. If anybody has one of the beds in front of their homes or near their streets, feel free to pick any weeds. We've only got a couple that are really bad still. So we're asking if people can help, and you can contact the office or Jim Snyder if you would like to be part, or one of the beautification committee. Unit reps. We now have one more person. Didn't get her on the agenda tonight, and I apologize, but she will be on the next one, so she will be officially on a unit rep, and we still are in need for one more. And this position actually is, you get to meet new people, you learn about what's going on in Brookridge, and maybe a stepping stone to something else. So I'd like everybody to consider it. It is the second Tuesday of the month at 9 o'clock that our meetings are here. Usually they're here in the big room, but sometimes they put us someplace else. So I'd like people to really consider doing something like that. If you know somebody who would like to get out and just meet the neighbors around them, it's a really nice thing to do. And can I just talk about that? My bag? Yeah. Okay. At the last meeting, I made a plea for plastic bags, and I've gotten a great response. I've gotten 3 big bags full of bags, plastic bags. My association at church, we are making crocheting blankets and pillows for the homeless. It's a great thing. It's a great community service, and it keeps the bags out of the landfill. So I'm urging everybody, we have out front there, we have a box to put them in, and at the office, I notice a lot of people, I've got to get on the office and get them out tomorrow. So anytime you have bags, if you could please put them there instead of in the rubbish, I would really, really appreciate it. And I know the homeless people do too. Thank you. Walmart's, Publix, Winn-Dixie, any of them, yeah.
The Veterans Committee is working very hard to get our Veterans Day ceremony moving forward. We have speakers, we have music, we have food from the Men's Association, thank you very much, and other things. So we're working along on that, and that is November 11th. That's Thursday, I believe. Anyway, no, I'm not sure what exact date. It's Thursday. It is a Thursday. No, Friday this year. I went back. Friday. It will be Friday morning, November 11th, starting at 9 a.m. And what we're looking for is, and I've spoken to the ladies of Brookridge, we're looking for volunteers to be our service. They will just run the carts around with the food on them. And I believe, is Gil here tonight? No. Gil isn't here? Okay, because he wanted me to, or he was going to speak on a couple of things that we're also involved in, is the Toys for Tots. Tom back there, he's in charge of that. He will, very soon, we will have the boxes up here, one in the clubhouse and one in the office, to collect the Toys for Tots. We're looking for toys, not necessarily all toys, but we're looking for items that we can distribute, that the 708, the Marine Club, can contribute to. Young kids' toys, we're looking for toys or electronics or cosmetics or things for the older children. And eventually, we will have a date when the Toys for Tots distribution at the fairgrounds. Tom will let us know when they will need volunteers to help sort the toys into age groups. And that is at the fairgrounds. The other thing Gil wanted to remind people of is the wreaths across America. If you're interested in going to the National Cemetery in Bushnell to place a wreath, you can order them online at wreathsacrossamerica.com. The orders have to be in by November so that you'll be assured of the wreaths. We've also believed that, as last year, Lowe's had the wreaths for sale, 12-inch wreaths with a bow that you can purchase. So just keep that in mind.
If I could, I know I'm on the line. Toys for Tots, also I like to call it cash for kids. You don't need to buy toys, give them money. They'll go buy toys.
Thank you very much. That would be very much appreciated, I'm sure.
Ken?
I have nothing, ma'am.
Okay. Jerry? I just want to thank you all for your patience. I want you to, again, I'm going to reiterate, please review the budget, write your questions down, email them either to Rosemary or myself, and come to the workshop, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. At the end of the day, you all have your choice whether you want to vote this budget in or you don't. It's entirely up to every resident in this development. That's all I have to say on my side. And now we'll have some member comments. Anybody? Val, you had your hand up first.
Go, girl. Here it comes, huh? Way over here.
Val Stratton, Unit 3. What's the email? Where do we send it to? I don't know.
Oh. My email was anna@brookridge.com. Rosemary.
sbasteri@tampabay.rr.com.
Mary? Thank you, Val.
Mary Star, Unit 6. First question is the audit back yet?
It came back Thursday, the draft. The draft came back Thursday.
So that's not the final.
Not. No.
In the packet that the board is looking at for the budget, is there a reserve spreadsheet summary?
Yes, there is, Mary.
Well, then can I ask why it was not in our copy?
I just wrote that on my notes. That it wasn't in the packet. I did write it on my notes.
And what about the income, the budget income sources, which explains to you exactly where you're getting your income from?
I could certainly give that for you. It's usually right here, but I'll get that for you.
And it should be really given out to all the residents. Every resident has a right to see it.
Okay.
They're all the ones, everybody here is voting on it.
They're not voting on it tonight.
No, but at some point they should have that, is what I'm saying, so they can decide. You're saying you're gonna give it to me. I'm saying it needs to go to all the
It'll be for
residents.
everybody.
Okay.
Okay?
And when can we expect a copy of the audit?
When I get through reviewing it with the other particulars in the office, yes.
And we'll get an email knowing it's available for pickup?
I will email everybody. The audit is here. You have to come to the office and look. You have to request it. You know the routine. Request it and come and look at it in the office.
The audit is supposed to be given out to all members at a meeting, all residents at a meeting, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong on the bylaws, but they're supposed to be handed out at a meeting to all of the residents, not just come to the office.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Anybody want to have anything they want to say, please? Don't be bashful. Okay, Paul? Or who do, I can't see anybody. Okay, come on up, honey.
Can you hear me? Anybody hear me?
Yes, not quite.
I have.
Can't hear you. Right into it, Tom.
Hello.
There you
Hello.
Oh.
I'm not used to doing this. I haven't made a speech in a long, long time.
Sir, can we have your name and unit number, please?
Okay. My name is Thomas Armstrong, and I live at 9029 Central Avenue in Unit 4.
Thank you.
Hey.
And I have a problem with the man that lives behind me, who moved in, and he has a real bright light. I mean, really bright light, and he has lights in the yard. Well, he turns this bright light on, and it shines up into my windows. And I went over and I asked him if he would adjust it down. Because he's got a fenced-in yard and a dog that is in there, and he just laughed at me. So then I went to the unit rep, and then I went to talk to the captain of code enforcement, and he said that there is nothing to stop anybody from shining a light in your window. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not that kind of person. What I'm saying is the only way that we can do it is to have the board pass a ban on having lights shining into somebody else's window. Because he's shining a great big light into my windows, my bedroom windows, and the windows of the house next to me.
Okay, sir, I'm somewhat familiar with your issue, and I believe that we cannot tell people on their own property where they can put their lights. If that's, I think that's what I was told. They have a right to put their lights where they want. I don't know if code enforcement went and spoke to the gentleman. I will check that out for you in the morning.
Code enforcement did check. He told me that he was going to check with him, but he said he can't tell him.
No.
Because there is no rule. We got a lot of rules in here, but we can't have a rule to stop somebody from shining a light in my window?
Well, let's take a look. We'll take a look at that, sir.
Maybe if you pass the word out, let me know where you live, I'll get a whole bunch of people to come up and drive up in your backyard and put light in your window. I've been here for 21 years, almost 22 years it'll be in November, and I've never had a problem. I've always tried to help my neighbors, I try to help everybody else. But I don't like it when somebody's trying to pull this kind of crap on me. The guy laughed at me. And I think you should do something about it.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here?
I just wanted to say something to Mr. Armstrong. I wonder if we check the county laws to see if there's anything that, and we can check it. We can check it for you. You live on Central? Did he say Central Avenue?
Yes. I prefer to speak from here, and I know I'm gonna get here because I'm a big mom.
Unfortunately, you have to come because they have to record it. I know.
My name is Marcy.
You gotta put you up to.
I don't like this. Can anybody hear me? Hi, my name is Marcy, and I'm Unit 1. And I'd like to know all the stuff that Jerry said, that he's disagreeing with the budget. Should that be on next month's or for the future months for the people that are not here right now and the snowbirds? So they will know what's going on with the budget. Because if people don't know about what he was complaining about, I have been in accounting and done accounting my life, and I think that usually somebody should audit this budget before it gets passed completely by a bookkeeper or like an accountant or something.
So I can't hear her.
Huh?
The people are chattering, they shouldn't, that's rude.
It's okay, because they're clapping probably. But I agree with Jerry that they should, everybody that's not, because most people don't come to this meeting, like the last meeting that I came to, and it was the first meeting that I've come for a long time, because you guys didn't like a question being asked. You completely closed the meeting out. And I mean, he's in the board. I think what he's complaining about is completely right. Me being an accounting and a bookkeeper and doing accounting for many years. And I do think that everybody should know exactly what he's complaining about. I know people are going to complain about $2 more this year, but in the long run, I don't want to be charged $10 more next year. So I think that that's what needs to be done, to be everything that he's complaining about, put it every month for everybody, because I know a lot of my Canadian friends are not here, and a lot of my friends that live out of the States are not here. So they need to know what's going on before they look at this budget. Thank you.
And you know, Marcy, the next meeting, the 10 o'clock meeting is going to be dedicated. The 9 o'clock meeting is going to be, but wait a minute.
People are not going to be here still.
Okay, but the thing is, I was going to say is that we always did a Zoom meeting. And, you know, if we could do the Zoom meeting and then they could call in their questions and discussion.
But the bottom line, I think everybody should know exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
Explain. And news and view, yeah, or whatever,
Yeah.
news and view or somewhere, so people can look and see. Maybe they'll agree to pass the budget, not to pass the budget and put it in dollars.
Yeah.
Instead of being $10 next year, which should be too much for us. And of course, everything is going up, not just salaries.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody, Ron? Please.
That's the word.
Drop it like a top. Drop it like a top.
Ron Walsh, Unit 6. Two things. Sandy already left, so I don't get points for this one. Hey, I know there's a lot of people here in Brookridge that like to sing. And the Music Airs is looking for some people to join in. You don't have a fantastic voice, you don't have to have. And guys, come on, there's only 4 guys there, and we're really getting lonely. So, and I know there's some guys in here who got good voices. So, you know, check out the Music Airs, come see. It's a good time. We put the concerts on in the spring and the Christmas time, and we get involved in the other things. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would ask, or would remind everybody that every Tuesday, there's a food truck over in the golf course parking lot. I have had only 1 complaint on the food so far, and a lady let me know that her fries were cold when she got home. And that's okay. We tried to make that right for her. So if I like brisket, ribs, pulled pork, chicken, hamburgers, that's the menu every week. Along with, you get 2 sides with it with 2 buns. So please come. It's a chance you don't have to cook. It's there from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock every Tuesday. Okay? Thank you.
And the food is excellent, Ron. 100% better than the last one.
Ron, I'd just like to say thank you for bringing that up about the music is, because we really could use people. Right now, we're going to be meeting on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, and we're going to be in C room for the time being unless we get a big crowd, then we will move in here. But right now, we have a small group, and we're doing the best we can. Like Ron said, you don't have to read music, and you don't have to sing that well either. We'll bring you along.
Paul?
You have 3 minutes, Paul.
Paul Harrison, Unit 4. I'd just like to say one thing about the proposed budget. I see on the Public Works, your road patching is $900. This year we put off paving of the roads because we weren't sure what money was there. I see nothing in the budget for road paving for the next year.
It comes out of reserve. And we have 1 quote to do the milling for next year. It's hard to get other quotes from these pavers. But we have a quote for that. We also have a quote for some of the trees that'll have to come down. The milling will go from Brookridge Central to Weatherford this year.
So
We're planning on doing some paving on Country Club because part of Country Club only has 1 layer.
it's not going to be Section 8 that we were proposing to do, but we didn't do. It's a 10-year proposal. We were supposed to do number 8, but we put it off because of the budget. We weren't sure. So you're not going to be doing...
Not this budget, Paul, not this budget.
No.
That money is in the reserve.
Oh, you gotta figure it's more expensive than what we paid up 2 years ago,
For the
$400,000.
milling? For the milling? Yes, it's gonna be very expensive.
Yeah, and there's gonna be enough money in the reserves to
Yes,
cover
there is.
this. And
And I'm sorry that it wasn't in this packet, but the money is in, it's on, line item site is what that line item is called, and the money is in the reserve for the milling and the trees. It has to be done next year. We're trying to, we already have one quote, but we're trying to get the other quote so we can bring it to the board and to the membership. And we're working on it, and Billy is working on it also. So it's not lying dormant, Paul.
my other thing is, I've been in this Brookridge community for 7 years, and 7 years when I've been at this podium off and on about the inaccurate treasurer's report. When Carol became general manager, I sat down with her for 2 meetings. She asked me to put a condensed report together. I put one, I gave it to her, and within the next month or so, we were getting an accurate treasurer's report each month. When the new board came on, we went back to this old way again. For instance, I'm going to take July. Your closing balance for July was $237,659.78. Your income for August is $167,606.45. Total income $405,266.23.
Paul, your time is up.
Sorry, I'm going to finish, Rosemary. I have another minute to go. You're the treasurer. You should know this, Rosemary.
I don't appreciate being deprecated.
Excuse me, I'm just going over an inaccurate treasurer's report. The operating expense was $8372.12, giving you a balance of $324,894.11. Subtract from that. Every month, we take $45,570 out of the operating fund to put into the reserve fund, leaving you a balance of $279,324.11. Our closing balance for the month of August is $225,987.29, a discrepancy of $53,336.82. Where is that missing money?
Hey, Paul, just to correct you, this is Kenny. The reserve funding is taken out in 10 equal payments.
I know that
commencing
from
in
January, and there's nothing taking out for November and December. I know that already. So you're taking out $45,570 every month. Where's the $53,336.82? Simple math.
Bob, what was the number again, 51? Paul, I asked, what was that question? Was it 53 something?
53,336.82. Like I said, we had when I brought my report to Carol, the condensed one, she went over, and for maybe 3 or 4 months, we did have an accurate treasurer's report. When the new board came on, they eliminated that treasurer's report and went back to the old way, which that's where we're at.
Linda?
Linda Hartman, Unit 1. Just a couple questions for clarification. You mentioned something about town. First question, when is the vote on the budget?
I believe it's November the 17th, and when the votes are tallied up.
Okay, and next questions. You mentioned town hall meetings on the budget. I think that's a really good idea. And how many town hall meetings are you maybe looking at? And can it be posted on the signs coming in the gate so people know when the town hall meetings are on the budget?
Good idea.
Well, I wanted to have the meeting, as a matter of fact, I set one up here for the 28th of September, reserved in North Hall. And then I had a email from our attorney who said that we should have it at the workshop. Now, I'm going to be very honest with all of you. I'm not crazy about having it at the workshop because I don't know how all of you feel, but I don't want to spend my whole day here. I would rather have it in a special time and a special place to go over all of those things.
I agree.
So that's what we have talked about doing. And then my email came from Steve, but we can, if you all would like to have that, I've already reserved this place for the 28th of September for 10 o'clock.
The workshops are more for residents to voice other concerns, and if they pop a concern in the middle of the budget, I think it should definitely be strictly.
I agree with you, Linda. Totally,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
So we will do that. And there'll be, Arlene will have some more work to do and get it out. And so everybody will know that at 10 o'clock on the 28th, we will meet here and bring your concerns, your questions, and we'll go from there. And we'll try to answer all of them for you. Okay?
Anna?
Linda?
Do you think that we could have an evening one also for people that, the golfers and things like that? We could probably have a morning one and then do an evening one also? No?
I'm sorry? You probably have to schedule that for the workshop.
Linda?
Linda Walls, Unit 4. I have a question on the transactions by vendor for the month of August. It only shows 2 charges for code enforcement for gas, a $55 and a $43.40. Under Sam's, there was no charges like there usually is, but yet on the P&L that is online, it shows code enforcement gas expense for the month, $1,055.96. So where are they getting their gas down?
You're asking something that we can't answer that right now, to be honest with you, because we don't have every account in our head, you know that.
Right, I know that, but if you could find out.
I can look it up and we can find out.
That's a big discrepancy.
Absolutely.
And have you ever gotten any answers on our previous questions, Mary and mine?
Yes, I have. I believe that was the question you had. No.
The social club's bank account, do we know who that belongs to?
I'm looking at 2 different questions you had, and I think Mary got down. I'm looking at 2 different questions that you had. You're asking me for about 2 line items that you brought to the forefront in August. I'll be very honest with every one of you. I've gone back to 2015 to research these 2 line items. I do not have the answer at this moment, and it might take me a while to get it.
Shouldn't we take that off of our profit and loss statement and our balance statement, since it's not actually Brookridge's money?
I can't take something, I can't just take something off, I have to have someplace to put it.
At the beginning of the year, it was not on there, and now all of a sudden it's shown up.
Oh, no, it's been on there. It's been on there for a long time.
It was on there and then it was gone.
It went off once?
It was
And
off. All the time that Lynn was here as our bookkeeper, it was gone.
Well, it's on. It's on other places, and I'm back at 213, I'll be honest with you. It's not an answer I can give you tomorrow. It's been a long time, and I'm not saying another word, but it is. I'm working
I just
on it.
wanted
And I
to
will have an
get
answer.
an answer.
I will have an answer, but it might not be today or tomorrow. It might be a few weeks. Your question? Okay, your question is on this one, on this item here. Admin, facilities, public works, that's why you asked, because they were all different?
Year-to-date to these things.
Yes, indeed.
Mary Story, Unit 6. The question was, the expenditures shown for each month when added up versus the year-to-date was $164,000 difference. So why is that difference? And that was my question. Okay, can you use the mic?
Part of the problem was when the budget for 2022 was entered into QuickBooks in 1st of January, some of the line items were either taken out or changed, which skewed up the bottom, the actual charges. I have one code enforcement. These budget items are correct. It's these items, year-to-date budget. The code enforcement, it says budget 454,000. But when I go to...
I'm not talking about the budget, Ann. I'm talking about the treasurer's report. My question was the treasurer's report.
These are what you asked me about.
No, what I'm asking you about is the expenses for the month, the first column, and then the next column that says year-to-date. Those figures between, it has nothing to do with the 454 for the proposed budget.
You want my answer, Mary?
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. What they posted in the year-to-date in the QuickBooks, they're not all correct.
So then you're saying the expense ones are correct and the year-to-date are incorrect? Is that what you're saying?
Interest isn't in here at this moment.
I didn't say interest.
I'm sorry, but I only have one hearing aid I'm working
Okay,
with.
what I'm saying is, are you saying that the expenses are the correct amount and the
Yes.
year-to-date is incorrect on the treasurer's report?
Exactly.
But it's coming out of your profit and loss. Isn't that report done manually? Isn't those numbers entered manually onto that treasurer's report? And taken off your profit and loss?
Not at this moment. I've given the breakdown, and I have it right here, to our bookkeeper, and I don't have access to QuickBooks, so I have to rely on our bookkeeper. And none of these problems relate to our current bookkeeper. I want you to understand that. None of these issues are anything that she created. She's picking up, like a lot of us are, trying to correct some of the wrong.
Well, the first 3 months out of the first 3 months of the year, the treasurer's report was accurate. Starting April, the treasurer's went off.
At the end of the day, absolutely. This is accurate. Your year-to-date budget, not.
So you're saying the year-to-date is incorrect?
At the end of the day, and I have it even in my notes, the year-to-date budget figures are based on the QuickBooks entries. However, the budget for 2022 will be the actual figures that will be used to balance the budget at the end of the year. Yes, these are correct.
So when can we anticipate a corrected and accurate treasurer's report?
Mary, I don't know if they can do that in QuickBooks. I've given it to her to see if she can correct it.
Okay, so for the rest of the time, since QuickBooks can't correct it, we're going to have inaccurate treasurer's reports. Okay, thank you.
Your actual budget is fine. I cannot.
It's the treasurer's report, it's not fine. And if you
I know, but I'm just saying, Mary, we're trying to correct what's done prior. Help us out. Are there any more questions? Val, come on.
not a question, an announcement. There's been some confusion. The social dance is still going to have their dance on the 1st as normal. But in addition, the men's club, who is supposed to be doing this announcement, and the social dance is putting on the Halloween costume party dance. And it is complimentary to the residents. So come, you don't have to wear a costume, but, so I don't want to see a bunch of Grim Reapers just because it's budget time. But come with your fairy dust costumes.
Thank you, Val. You have a question?
Deborah Coble, 14196 Brookridge Boulevard. I have no idea what unit I'm in because I've never met anybody. Been there since December. Thank you. Okay. My concern is, I just don't understand how you could present this tonight to everyone here and snowbirds that aren't here yet to ask all their questions without having first the auditor's report. We actually should probably have the auditor here to answer questions once that report is presented, and also to have an accurate understanding. The last couple meetings that I've watched and that I've been at, the young lady over here in the second row has asked very poignant questions, and there's been no answers satisfactory given for those. So I don't know how you could ask us even to have a workshop on this that is inaccurate information presented to the residents. The other thing is, I sent an email on Friday asking for this gate century thing to have a presentation in the evening. It is very non-inclusive to a lot of people that work here. I work every day, and when I am leaving my house, there is a flurry of traffic leaving here. Having meetings at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning is not inclusive to the rest of the residents that live here. And you are expecting us to still pay our home association fees. So I think that you really need to reconsider when you actually have meetings so that more people can be included, especially if you're asking us to pay our dues and our fair share. So, but I think you need to pull this back and rethink this and give accurate information, because I don't think tonight that this paperwork that you've presented is accurate at all. Thank you.
I want to remind everybody that last year's budget was done without an audit. It's not our fault that we don't have an audit. We have a time frame that we have to present a budget to the board the first Tuesday of, in September.
Okay, I got a question to ask. Hannah, you said the comment to Mary just a few minutes ago that the year-to-date's not right on the treasury report. Yeah, but I'm asking you a question. The reason I'm saying that is you tell her that the year-to-date's not right on the treasury report. So let me ask you a question about the budget, because you said on the meeting. Where do these figures come from that says as of 6/29/22, which would be the year-to-date? Where do they come from? If they're not accurate on the treasury report, then if you say they're not accurate in QuickBooks, then what is it? How can you double that to get the proposed budget for what would be the rest of the year's figure, plus what figure to base next year's on? how would that be done if those figures for the
I don't think we doubled anything. I might have missed that part.
Well, let's see, we can go with the wages right here in administration. It says, as of 6/29/22, 73,121, and then the proposed budget for next year is 148. That's basically doubling that. So, I mean, you go back through here, and I kind of agree with everybody else when it comes to these figures. We know the figures are not true because they doesn't take into account the minimum wage going up every year for that. And then this budget does not have a line like an increase for, say, we've talked about our forensic audit. If there was ever a time to have one, whether it be this now or next year or whenever, there's no line for that. There's no line for the gate. I mean, my question is, we're going to have town hall meetings, but when does this budget have to be printed and sent out to the people when the snow bursts? When does it have to go to the printers? It doesn't have to go to the printers the first of next month?
Correct.
So what good is town hall meetings if they're after when it goes to the printer? You can't change no figures, so actually a town hall meeting on this budget should have took place between Tuesday, the first Tuesday of this month, and right now. So it doesn't do any good to have a town hall meeting after now, because whoever's questioning concerns, if it needs to be raised or whatever, it's not going to be changed anyway. And y'all been saying that this budget was voted on yes or no. It can be voted down. It doesn't matter because it's still going to be $48. It's still not going to be right. Still not going to take into account the minimum wage going up and the reserve. So, I mean, to tell people that they got a choice to vote this down or not, what is their other choice? They don't have any choice. It's basically $48 in.
They have a choice. They can.
No, they don't, because it's still going to be $48. If they vote it down, it's still going to stay $48. So it's not giving them a choice. Either way, it's still $48. They might as well not even vote on it.
Are you gonna have an evening meeting for what the lady had asked for? With the people about the gate?
I thought they were gonna post that on YouTube.
Are you talking about the rear gate?
Yeah.
Okay, the rear gate will be probably after we vote for the budget, and the rear gate, we would have to have.
She was talking about
Gate Century.
Oh, Gate Century.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, I don't.
It will be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it'll be a 20-minute video, and then one of the owners from Gate Century will be online, and they will answer your questions.
Yeah, but I understand that, but you're not asking for a nighttime meeting?
Pardon me?
Is there going to be a nighttime
Meeting?
I will look into that.
There should be for like she expressed herself, but nobody gave her an answer.
I will check on that.
Thank you.
Remember, I'm not the general manager.
Yeah, but you are the president, so who can we ask for presiding?
Well, I'm just okay. If there is any more discussion tonight, can I have a motion to adjourn? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Go at these people.